Welcome back to mid-July 2025. Thought I'd come to my room over here. Just doing a little monthly inventory, just checking on things and making sure nothing weird's happening. And you know, I thought it's time we do a Pokemon conversation. I haven't done a direct Pokemon video in a couple weeks, so here we are. We're gonna talk about it. I think the most interesting thing right now is some of the discrepancies where certain Pokemon sets seem overpriced to me, and certain ones seem severely mispriced. Does that make sense? So let's start the video with something simple. Like old Pokemon Generations packs. Like, should these be $50 a pack? Should they be $100 a pack? How do you determine what that is? Is it because of the single cards and the gradient premium on some of these things? How do you determine that stuff? Okay, let's go to something else. Let's go to this. We got ourselves a box right here, a case of Sun and Moon Set 4. Somebody comment below. Whatever Sun and Moon Set 4 is over there. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure Sun and Moon Set 4, whatever it is. Here's another one. We got Sun and Moon Set 2. And of course, what else do we got around here? Here's a good one. Don't you love how they used to be smaller? Look how small the cases are. XY era. Here's a good one here for you guys, going through the stuff. So we got XY case of Ancient Origins. Kind of funny. This particular case, well, these stack of 10 cases. So this Ancient Origin case, those 10, 15, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 4, 18 cases of Ancient Origins. What's funny is that was from the final reprint. And when that reprint happened, the distributor called me. I was like, will you please, Rudy, do you want? And I was like, oh God, XY Pokemon reprint. And I remember he was like, dude, we'll mark the price down if you'll just take these last like 20 cases. And the funny thing about it was, I think my price at the time was like $76 a box, 3 price increases. And I think they marked the price down to like $68 a box or something. And I was like, yeah, fine, I'll take it, and I'll try to run a patron sale for like $79.99 or some stupid shit, and I'm sure people tell me to fuck off. And, you know, I sold a case of Ancient Origins recently. I don't even want to tell you the price, but you can probably guess. Go on TCG Player, look at the price of a sealed box of Ancient Origins. You're not going to be able to get a sealed case price because there literally are no prices online. There are not. I don't even think... You can check eBay. You might be able to find one case of someone somewhere in the country. But it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. So that brings us to today, everybody. That brings us to today. How do we have something like Sword and Shield, Silver Tempest? Come on! Whatever. Let's just pretend. How do we have... never mind. Lost Origins. Wrinkly box with the dent, because this was a patron return. When I sold these for, I think these were $119 a box, and the patron returned it because this Pokemon had bad manufacturing, and the wrapper was kind of wonky on it. So, well, that one's a little bit better. Well, that's Lost Origins. Anyways, so how do you have Silver Tempest booster boxes at like almost $400 a box? The ETBs of Silver Tempest are like $80, maybe $90 when you watch this. Like, is that the right ratio? I'm not sure it is. So how do you have a Silver Tempest box from Sword and Shield era at almost $400 a box? And then in Scarlet Violet, you have like SVO2 at the same almost $400 a box. And now, what sparked me to make this video today is we have the new Team Rocket set. Was it SV10, 11? Whatever the new one is. The last complete set of the Scarlet Violet era. and it's hitting new highs. It didn't crash at all. Destin Rivals, sorry. So now Destin Rivals, somebody told me this morning was 270 plus tax. So they're pushing back towards 300. So you have a brand, the newest set of Destin Rivals booster boxes is almost 300. And you're telling me 11, 12 sets ago from a different block, Silver Tempest is the same price? That seems a little fucking weird, doesn't it? So, see, it's good. It's easy. A lot of you guys like me to make these kind of videos because for me, I don't need to pump any particular set. I don't give a shit. I got all the sets. I'm not here to try to tell you you should all buy Lost Origins or all should buy Ancient Origins or all should buy I don't care what happens. I'm here because it's fun to talk to you guys about this stuff. And there are just certain things that are weird to me. You know, Scarlet Violet base is like 205. Like, really? The base set's only 200? Really? Like, Journey Together is like 230. Like, really? And then, you know, I don't know. I didn't price check all the sets from Sword and Shield, but, you know, obviously, I'm sure, you know, Evolving Skies are urine yellow box somewhere back there and somewhere off to that direction. I'm assuming those are probably the 2,000 plus a box kind of thing, but like the same thing, like an amazing product, like Chilling Reign over there. Like, Chilling Reign boxes are 400 and change or 450 or let's just say 500 by the time we watch this. I'm sure it's going to be all over the place. Is that really that bad of a price? Like, it's very, I'm having a hard time trying to understand and grasp what's considered a good buy, a good price, or a bad. And then I step back and I look at myself in the mirror and I realize that I've been doing this way too long in my life. And at this point, I feel like I'm just living in a video game and all this money or inventory is like the scorecard in the corner of the Mario screen, or I'm trying to collect all the hearts in Zelda, or I'm just trying to unlock all the achievements in Grand Theft Auto and trying to find all the chicks in the room in the red light district. Like, there's a point where I look at all this, I'm like, how do you know if that's over or under? I'm not really sure. But then I step back and I'm like, you know what? I sound like a Timmy. I sound like a fucking idiot. Because in reality, I'm asking and I'm looking at the wrong thing. And I think this is something that we can all learn. It's spending the effort of going, Silver Tempest is $375 plus tax. Should that be $475? Lost Origins is $500 or $600. Should that be $800? Like, should we be putting the effort into trying to overanalyze every little thing like that? Or does it not really matter at all? Even doing that in putting that kind of effort into trying to say, hey, is this black and white era box? It has 3 packs plus promo. Should this be $100, $50, or $200? Like, does it matter? And then who sets the price? How does it matter? You know, I don't. It's a very confusing thing. Or at the end of the day, is this the greatest bubble of all time? And none of this is the conversation, because everyone online, like, you'll see the views on this Pokemon video are probably going to be on the low side. Probably 30,000 views, high side 50 to 70,000 views, depending on if this video, after like 7 to 10 days, this video is probably going to have a shit ton of views. I don't do a lot of Pokemon content. A lot of you guys wait for like a Pokemon video. And I promise you, I'll put some negative thing. I don't know, Rudy gets margin called or loses or something happens, or I'll make some stupid thing up to make sure you guys click on this shit, because that's just the world we live in. Mark Zuckerberg thanks you for his billions. And it's a weird environment. And yeah, I know. I heard the news. We're getting ready to go into a new block. And in the new block, Pokemon's raising prices and everybody's freaking the fuck out. And I'm sitting here going, if you were Pokemon, you would do the same thing. If I was corporate board of directors of Pokemon, you all would hate me like the arch enemy Joker times 10 who took your ex-wife and your stepsister on the same weekend. Why? Because in a market like this, the correct thing to do on management and margins is to raise your prices at the Pokemon level. Essentially, Pokemon should and probably will implement the largest price increase they've done in a long time. Why? Because, well, they know what's going on, and they know the market doesn't seem to be shifting anytime, so they want a bigger chunk of the pie. Now, is that a good or bad thing? Well, it's good business for them, because, well, like we said over and over, Pokemon's going to make sure we never return to an era of Pokemon boxes under $100 a box. They are going to literally guarantee that never happens, because now they're going to push up the price wholesale, and MSR Peanuts gang is going to get more upset because they're going to raise MSR Peanuts from what, 160s, maybe to 170s, 180s. So again, the idea of crashing in $100 boxes, like I've told you guys in many, many videos, there should have never been a time when, there should have never been a time when this Roaring Skies booster case right here, there should have never been a time. The only reason I have Roaring Skies, because I missed it on release, is because I bought the reprint, and I bought a shit ton of the reprint. And there should never been a time. These are $2 to $3 a box. The reprint hit, collapsed the market. I got excited. I said, wow, I can finally buy Roaring Skies. Wholesale, I don't know, $75 a box at the time. And they hit a low of about $65, $70. Couldn't make money, couldn't do anything with it. Now, I sell single boxes of Roaring Skies for $2,000 to $3,000 a box. The funny thing about life is, the real world makes better YouTube content than you can make up. You don't need to make things up, because real life is the best content in the universe. It writes itself. And the only reason I was able to buy Ancient Origins, Primal Clash, Breakthrough, Roaring Skies is because nobody else wanted it. And I was the last resort to take it. And there's only a few possible outcomes in the future. This is the greatest bubble of all time. And at some point between watching this video and the next 10 years, the Pokemon market has a full-blown fucking tulip mania collapse. And Pokemon prices drop 50 to 90% across the board. Option number 2, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning, and the music keeps playing, and we go 5, 10, 15 more years, and eventually a collapse happens sometime in the next 50 years, and by then, does it really matter today? If you have a $200 box of Pokemon, and it goes to 2, 3, 4,000, even if the market collapses 50%, it goes from 4,000 back to 2,000 or 1,000, and you paid $200 a box, do you see my point? That's the problem with bubbles. It's not about life and equities and stocks and asset classes and bubbles. The problem is, even knowing that bubbles exist and are bubbly doesn't mean they are still not a good category to play in. Because if you buy a $200 Pokemon box and it goes to 1,000, and with the greatest Pokemon bubble collapses and everything drops 60%, your $1,000 box goes back to 400. You only paid 200. You still doubled your money. Sure, you didn't time the top and the best peak to sell, but it's still okay. And that's the weird part about speculative things that have no real... Pokemon doesn't have real finite value points. There's not, like, like on Papa Hasbro stock. Everybody knows I own over 20,000 shares of Hasbro now. Full disclosure, I tell everyone all the time whenever I discuss it. Whether you think it's a good stock or bad stock, I don't really give a shit. That's just what I have. Every time we'd crash, I'd buy more. And the thing is, I can tell you whether or not, based on quarterly reports, earnings, cash flow, product pipeline, I can get an idea of what the value of a publicly traded company is. Based on profitability, cash flow, debt, price to earnings ratios, industry average, you can get an idea. You can't get an exact, because again, you can say, well, the market's heading a recession, everything's priced different. PEs have to come down. If everything's in a booming market, PEs get more fluffier. So you can get a good range. But when you deal with the life of Florida man, basement, alligators, and stepsisters, there is no finite way to know what the value of things are. Now, some of you all will say, well, that's why this shit's dangerous, Rudy. Some of you will say, well, that's why this stuff is beautiful, Rudy. Because you can, again, it's all perspective. I can argue why you all should buy any Pokemon set. I can argue why this is the greatest bubble of all time, and I'm going to write it to zero because I want to be in history books of the guy who made $50 million in Pokemon and wrote it to zero because it'd make a good Netflix series. I probably would do a Netflix documentary when I'm older. That'd be fun. Life of Florida Man. I'd probably consider that. Boy, you guys would lose your mind if you saw behind the scenes shit. Jesus Christ. But that's what makes collectibles and trading cards funky. Because there is no right or wrong price. And younger people and people who are new to the hobby, less than a year old, which is going to be most people in Pokemon, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they're sitting there at night and on their phone, lunch breaks. Hey man, Rudy, which one should I buy? Should I buy Fusion Strike? I saw it online for 700 shipped. You think Fusion goes to 800, Rudy? I mean, I told you all everything in Sword and Shield should be over $1,000 a box, and Best of Breed should be $2,000 to $5,000. I've said that for 6 months in a row, and then you still get people that go, "Is Fusion Strike at 700 good, Rudy? Or is it going to go to 800?" Okay, well, let's look at historical data and let's look at the situation. Nobody knows what the true value of some of these things are. You can argue, well, that's a good set. Look at the chase cards. Look at the secret rare. Look at the illustrator this. Look at that. Look at the subset of this. Look at the full art. Look at what's in it. You can argue anything you want. Pull rates high or low. How many good cards there are. But I almost feel like these are means to justify things that don't really matter. And that is the real world of this. Is that Pokemon pricing and evaluation, it's kind of fugazi. It's fairy dust. It's kind of wazi-woozy. There is no way to know. Doesn't mean it's dangerous. Everything in life is dangerous. I could literally stand up after this video, trip on my $5 folding card shop chair, and I could go through this floor, end up in the center of the earth, and I could die. And, that's how the cardboard man. I could go to the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, and when I hand the girl my credit card, an alligator could come up, pull me out of the car, and, I could die by alligator as I eat waffle fries. On the weekend, when you guys don't see a video filmed, I could end up with your stepsister or your wife, and I could die of a heart attack because I got too excited. Anything in life is possible. It's about probabilities. It's about what is likely. It's risk management. This entire thing is risk management. Like this location with this era of Pokemon is one of 5 locations. Like this, there is no other. The only Pokemon here is XY in this shit here. There is no Scarlet Violet. There's nothing here. It's just old shit here. And there's no way to know. All I can tell you is a $3,000 box of XY era Pokemon? Is that the right price when Evolving Skies is going to be $3,000 soon? So something from the XY era is worth the same as Evolving Skies? Well, yeah, Rudy, it's best in breed. Of course it is. Okay. It gets weird because we all try to use analogies, similarities. We all try to compare and contrast to understand what's what. Last month, I ran a sale to patrons, sold 1,000 boxes of SVO2 Mr. P, Paldea Vault. And I sold to patrons for, was it $250 a box or something? And yeah, so 1,000 patrons last month who bought that case. I had about, maybe 10, 20 people close their account, tell me to fuck off for being rip-off scalper scanner 5,000. And I said, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy your stay. Don't let fucking Chuck Norris punch you in the face. And the other 1,000 people who bought SVO2 from me just 30 days ago. They made, what are they up now? $500 to $1,000 in 30 days? There's no way to know the trajectory and the velocity and the rate of change. I remind you all, as we gurgitate Rudy's brain of Pokemon, that the appreciation and price movement, the velocity of change right now, if you're an options derivative trader, the velocity of change is higher than it should be. Like, seeing now that Destined Rivals is now, because there's no more coming, possibly for a long time or ever, we better get more. Now Destined Rivals is pushing towards 300. You're telling me the newest Pokemon set in the next 90 to 120 days is going to be over $300 a box. And Silver Tempest is $350 a box. That makes no fucking sense to me. Makes no sense to me. You're telling me that Evolving Skies at $2,500 is the same price as Roaring Skies from the XY era. Makes no sense to me. Well, Rudy, the chase cards and, the Moonbreon and it... Okay, that's cool. You can use whatever you think as justification. We'll look at the single card price. Look at the chase card here. But people's opinions on art and cards change. People's attitude on how to price things change. Side conversation. At Premier Card Grading, PCG, Rudy has 69% ownership of the whole U.S. operation over here. The number one graded card, or the top two graded, I think it's tied. The two cards we get in the system here that we grade the most are obviously going to be Pokemon, and of course Flesh and Blood. We get a ton of people grading with our player slabs and the RFID because they want to play with their cards and have their cards graded. So between Flesh and Blood and Pokemon, those are thousands of cards a month being slabbed. And the funny thing is, half the orders of Pokemon that come into PCG are newer cards. Brand new stuff. Destined Rivals, Surging Sparks, Journey Together, Temporals, Mr. P's, Paradox, all this new stuff. But then the other half of the cards, or the orders of grading Pokemon, are a ton of old stuff. Vintage, Japanese stuff, new and vintage, XY era, Sun and Moon era, Black and White. I see people are still all kinds of stuff, right? And, the thing is, how... The forces at work in Pokemon to me are very... I guess I'm going to say they're concerning. Because I can't grasp it. I can't understand it. I have an extremely difficult time understanding the predictability of modern Pokemon. I miss the days where it was fucking easy. And everybody just made fun of me for talking about Pokemon. I miss the days of 6 years ago making a Pokemon video talking about evolutions and Roaring Skies, and the comment section would be like, wow, look at this dumbass Florida guy trying to pump these bags that he's about to go bankrupt on. Like, those were easy days. I didn't realize how much I missed it. Because all everybody cares about now is just flipping and streaming and rip and shit. It is so different compared to what built this location. This location was built on a whole different era. I could not rebuild this in today's era. I've told you all, I cannot rebuild and continue my own business model with Black and White, Journey Together, Destined Rivals. I mean, I've got some product in these things, but maybe, Destined Rivals, I may have, maybe I got 30, 40 cases. What is that? Fucking half a pallet or some shit? Like, that doesn't even get a rise out of me. I'm not even going to turn off the adult content to deal with that. It's not even worth the time. But the thing is, the rate of change and the people are so aggressive. I don't think we even need a bubble or a Pokemon collapse to change things. You know what I think we need to change things? I think 30 to 40, a third of the market would leave the Pokemon world if prices just stopped skyrocketing. We don't even need a collapse. There are so many people just swiping their credit cards and flipping. If prices just stopped going up, I think that alone would change everything. It really, we don't even need the big bubble to collapse. And sure, Pokemon's a bubble. I don't think anyone would argue it's not. But the thing is, the Pokemon bubble could go another 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And even if you're in a bubble, and you know, not Bubble Mew, but even if you're in a real bubble, even if you know in 17 years and 5 months, it's going to start the biggest bear market collapse and undo everything in Pokemon history. It's fucking 17 years. Who cares? That's the problem with market timing and living in fear. Even when the day comes, when the bear market returns or something shifts, it may not even matter. We've never been in a different market cycle. This is the first market cycle that we have rip and ship in this kind of behavior. Other cycles didn't have that. You know, and the burn rate of sealed product is just so astronomically high. I don't know how to compute that. I don't know how you calculate the value of things. The only conclusion, I'm going to wrap this video up. The only conclusion I can say is the more we continue this fast appreciating Pokemon, the more it just makes me nervous, makes me uncomfortable. This is coming from a guy that no matter what happens, great. If you guys want to pump any set, pump and dump any, I don't care. I'm just telling you that we need things to stop going up so quick. You know, and I know the more things go up, every time the Pokemon market moves up 10%, evil investor Rudy could make $1 million or something. I don't know. But we need this kind of inflationary pressure in Pokemon to stop. But I don't feel like it wants to. I feel like everybody's okay with the higher price, and you can't stop it unless the buyers and people back away. And it's not happening. And with government policy and money printing and everything going on, I mean, when I'm selling these $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 vintage sealed cases, they're being paid for most of the time. It's being paid for through, Bitcoin or USDC stablecoin or Ethereum. And I mean, these are again things years ago that people weren't really doing with Pokemon. And I don't think so again, ending the video, I don't think this is an issue about whether or not we're in a bubble. The issue is the rate of change. If I could change one thing, I would want Pokemon boxes to come out at $150 to $180 a box. And then every year they go up their 5, 10, 15%. Because normal Americans and people who are the gamblers and swipers and flippers, if you could buy a Pokemon box today and next year it goes from in 1 year, $150 box goes to $170 in a year, that alone is going to weed most people out because it's moving so slow. People are going to feel like it's failing. To me, 10% a year is amazing. Now, obviously, 20, 30, 40, 50% a year is just perverted. When you hit inventory levels that are tens of millions of dollars, and someone says, hey, Rudy, you're going to make 30% a year. I'm going to go, huh? So I'm if you have an even $20 million of inventory, and it goes up 30% a year, just the inventory is going to go up $6 million fucking dollars a year just on that. It's not supposed to be that way. That's not the way the data is supposed to be. We need to return to normal 5 to 10% growth rates and rate of changes. And that alone will get rid of all the short-term TikTok jiggly dancers and the people who want to flip. Because people can't flip when the growth rate is normal. And that'll remove the scalpers. I'll put the scalper scanner 5000 back in the basement. And we should all be able to move on with our lives. It just doesn't feel like it's going to happen anytime soon. And I feel like the longer we go without that happening, the higher the probability that there will be a tremendous bubble. And we will have a major crash. The longer that this type of market lasts, every month that goes by, it's like you increase the probability of a great crash by 1% a month. Because if Destin Rivals in 2 years from now is $500, $600 a box, and the worst part is it's not even impossible. That's the worst part, is that most likely it could actually happen. But that's not a healthy asset class that moves like that. It is not sustainable. But how do you value a Pokemon box? How do you assign a value? All you guys do, and all I do, is go on TCG Player. We type in a name. We go, hey, look, there's the 2 cheapest English boxes. They're $500 a box. Look, there's a sold listing for $510. It's worth $500 a box. And then that's how we assign the value. And then a couple more boxes disappears. It goes to $550. Someone buys it at $550. Well, now it's a $550 box. I mean, it's very difficult to know the value of these things. Like, we don't see this growth in vintage Pokemon. We don't see it in vintage Magic the Gathering. Now, new Magic collector boxes, oh god, same thing. But in old stuff that has historical charts and data, and we can assign values, and we know things because we have 30 years of data or 20 years of Pokemon data, we get a better idea. And guess what? Those items they're not skyrocketing every week, every month, every quarter. It's just the new distorted hype thing. And it is scary. Because there's a very real chance that eventually the music could stop. And it could be scary. But if the music goes for another 5, 10, 15 years, I mean, 50% of these viewers right now watching this won't even be watching this channel in a year. So you multiply 50% attrition rate every year in fucking 10, 15 years. If I'm still making videos, 1% of you guys will be watching. So it doesn't really matter anyways, right? I don't know. Whatever. I'm done ranting and raving. Pokemon just confuses the fucking shit out of me. Whatever. Have a great day.